This is I Love Black People Radio on HUR Voices, Sirius XM Channel 141. I Love Black People is more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong worldwide. I am because we are.
Welcome again to another wonderful journey on I Love Black People. Today, we've been blessed with an amazing, dynamic, wonderful sister, a fellow Howard alum, just a sister that's done so much for me. Even before she had even finished university, she had given me so much love. So just opportunity to get her on and this show and interview her. She should have been the first person I interviewed. But that being said, I have my sister. Welcome to I Love Black People.
Yes, thank you. I'm so elated to be on I Love Black People. I appreciate everything that you have done, Brother Sinclair, for the movement locally, internationally, throughout the diaspora. I am Brandi Forte. I'm a mompreneur. That is a mom and entrepreneur. I am a Howard University graduate, class of 2000. I am from sunny Santa Monica, California. But don't get it twisted. I was born and raised on the Black Inkwell Beach of Santa Monica, California. And I own a vocational school in the District of Columbia, a Mala Lives Institute, and a nonprofit. So I'm here today to spread the love unapologetically.
Well, sister, you got so much love. Look, I said live. You got so much life. You got so much love. Thank you for all of it. And I think it would be great because I know you have another book, because you are a prolific author and just latest installment. But again, you've done so much and do so much. Let's frame all this. Let's talk about, what do you do on a day-to-day basis that really has allowed you to be so amazing? And then let's talk about this book and what inspired it. Or maybe they're both the same. What would you say?
So let's talk about the book. Let's
go book. We book bound. Let's cut to the chase. Let's go. Let's do it. The love of the book. Let's go.
Yes. So I am a published author of 4 books. I am so excited about my 1-year anniversary of my novel, Stronger, which is based on a true story. Stronger has made regional bestseller. That means I have sold more than 5,000 copies, which I'm super excited because this is an indie book without, a serious backing of major book deals. This is all myself and my team. So shout out to my team. But Stronger is a Black love manifesto. It is everything that we don't talk about. It is a story of 2 main characters, Dream and Kenya. Dream is this beautiful, voluptuous brown sister who is finding her own way. She's young. She's a single mom of a son named King. And Dream, what I love about Dream's character is that she is raw, she's authentic, and she knows that she has a lot of mess with her. And so she falls in love with this edgy kind of guy who comes from, a different walk of life, but they connect on different vibrations. He is warrior-like. His name is Kenya. He has a warrior spirit, a protective spirit, family-oriented, very encouraging to say the least at first. But those 2 together, because they're like orange juice and milk, they take you on a roller coaster ride, baby, that you need your seatbelt on. So Stronger speaks to both the strength as well as the weaknesses of Black relationships. It speaks to love. It speaks to resilience. It speaks to trauma. It speaks to mental health. A lot of things that we don't talk about. A lot of times when you're watching movies, when you think of Black love, you think of Gabriel Union or Morris Chestnut. this is not it. This is more like Taraji and Tyrese part 4. This is baby boy growing up.
Wow. So would you say, I mean, what were some of the inspirations for this? I don't want to tip too many people on the actual, the plot and whatnot. I know you want to keep a level of suspense, but let's just say congratulations, 5,000. 5,000, and those 5,000, and probably each of those folks somebody borrowed their book. So it's probably 10,000, 15,000 people who actually enjoyed your work that wouldn't have existed but for you. So thank God for your presentness and your thoughtfulness of us to even share with us these stories that you've put together and curated in your mind. What's been the inspiration? Like where does Stronger come from? How do you relate and share with us that journey, please?
Yeah, so Stronger, when I first started writing Stronger, in Sinclair, you know that I'm a writer by trade. Most people who went to Howard University know that Brandi is a poet, she's a writer, she's an artist, she's eclectic. When I started writing Stronger, I was writing a Black love story that was in my own imagination of what I thought Black love was. And, I had everything together. This was in 2016. I was going to release the book in 2017. I created my writing process, my atmosphere. I was writing every day. And then my late husband was murdered. And so he was murdered in November of 2017. And that just rocked my world, that I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And so, in grieving and reflecting and burying, I learned a lot about myself. And so I just kind of felt like the spirit was telling me, write your Black love story. Even though people may not understand, even though people may come from a place of judgment, write it, because it will heal the masses. It will heal so many people. It'll reach so many people. And so through going through therapy and grieving, I started writing Stronger. So really it is just my Black love story told from an urban lens, and the names are just changed.
Wow, and the names just are changed. I heard that the urban lens and the trauma you speak to, I think so many of us can relate to and need healing. I think what you've always demonstrated to me, though, is people heal people, and people who are hurt people. I think you've been always a healing person, and I think it in a very your book is Stronger, but in a strong way you've been about that. You know what I'm saying? You hold your post, like you really, that square, you keep it. So I think, how do you see that as an artist and as a person, like living right here in the present? Like how do you live in those two spaces? The artist who's really revealing and sharing and vulnerable, and then like that real person who got to deal with these folks out here always coming all kinds of ways. Like how do you deal with that juxtaposition, I guess I could say?
Excellent question. It's about, I'm 43 years old. I think when you met me, I was like 18, right? So I've grown a lot, and balance is so important for me. It keeps me sane. I literally, with every breath that God gives me every day, I set an intention. Okay, so Brandi, are you going to be the author today? Are you going to be the businesswoman today? Or is this a self-care day? Or is this a mom day? What are you going to be intentional about? And that's how I'm able to break that up, like literally by the day. Today is Saturday. My intention was self-care and fixing things up around my house, which means I'm not taking any calls about business. I'm not taking any calls about trying to put somebody else together. It's just my focus is myself today. Whereas I've already booked the rest of my year out. So I know next week for 3 days straight, I have to hit the ground running with grant writing. I really try to organize each day and set an intention, praying that I hit the mark. And that's how it's crucial for me for being an artist because, when I was younger, I'd be like all over the place. Yeah, I'm a poet, I'm an author, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like I'm also a mom too. And my children are my priority, and they are very ambitious. My son, he is a boxer, an amateur boxer, and he just won the Golden Gloves. And my daughter, she's a gymnast, so they got their own lives,
Wow, wow,
right?
wow, wow, good stuff. Wow, and they're grown. Look, you got some pretty grown kids by now. When you just said 43, though, it just took me. Life moves so fast. So I guess just keeping up with your movements and even in your self-care day, maybe are there some things that you can share with us? And if you don't, and look, this is your self-care day. If you don't feel like sharing with us about that today, it's still fine with us. If you're looking at yourself and looking at that 18-year-old self, what are some of the things that you would share with 18-year-old Brandi Forte? What would you say to her?
Oh my gosh, I would tell her to honor herself. I would tell her don't cast your pearls to swine. I would tell that sister, what do that mean? That means that you have pearls, you have divinity. These are my anointing. I knew I had an anointing. I knew that I was different. I knew that I had something very special about myself. But honestly, I was terrified of tapping into that. And within the last, I would say, maybe 4 years, I've gotten comfortable with embracing my value, whether it's time, whether it's chilling, whether it's kicking it. I can't just allow myself to be cast out there with anybody. And so I would tell my 18-year-old self, sis, practice yoga, eat more fruits and vegetables, take time to exercise, drink lots of water. um, I would tell her to reserve time for yourself. Get your feet done once a month. There's certain things that, when I was younger, like, I'll do that. But now it's like certain things like I have to get a pedicure every month, quarterly. I have to do some type of massage.
I think there's something that you made me think about when I think about the 18-year-old Brandy. I think you always had a boldness. And I think what's unfortunate about some of that boldness is that Black boldness is not always embraced. Like you've literally been pretty amazing and visionary with your approach and wanting large things. Like I think one of the things I've noticed, and I've traveled a bit around the world, and I always think of how Black folks, no matter if it's on the continent of Africa, even United States, or where I've been, we often don't dream big enough. But you seem to always be bold. What I think, and I think that's why we got to protect our artists and be there for y'all and and have safe spaces. What do you say about that boldness at a young age, and what can we do? I think your expression in as an author in that, and the work you do and continue to do to help our community is a manifestation of that boldness. But how do you see how you can keep that bold light fed? When you look at the twists and turns, how can you keep that confidence? Like you had a level of confidence. It's just like yesterday, you coming into the dry cleaners, and you're a writer. Look, you was a writer then. Like look, like you got someone's like one day I'll be a writer. You was about that life. I'm a writer now.
For
How do you
real.
keep it's real? So how do you keep feeding that in young people? How do you keep feeding it in yourself?
That is so great. Nobody's ever asked me that. That boldness. I have a poem saying I was a woman at 5. That boldness, I think I just was born with that boldness. You know, from the time that I was 5 years old, my mom, she was a hairstylist to celebrities and to Black dignitaries. And so, that came with how I was raised. Shout out to my mama, Mama Robbie. So it was like, be bold, be fly, be this, be that. Um, I love the fact that you talk about a safe space. I really like that. because it's so important that we protect our artists by creating havens. And what I'm working on currently is clicking up with artists like myself and using the space that I have at WeWork where they can come, where they can build, where they can cultivate.
And what do you think of some of those things that artists need that you don't necessarily see as far as tools? Like I think when we talk about that, me as a layperson, I've never been creative. Well, I've tried to be creative, but with that being said, I'm not familiar or enough with the art, the space y'all operate from. What are the things that we can do to help our artists and how we can be a contributor to that safe space making.
Goodness gracious, just, like platforms like this is so important, creating ongoing platforms where we can express ourselves. Um, I would say, even encouraging, offering a space for therapy, for mental health, having places where we can go and just unwind, drink some tea, drink some coffee, maybe a place where we can celebrate our success, and also like a safe space for healing. So maybe even like a multi-purpose space that we can come to and just be ourselves. In DC, the times that I have written books and what I felt, were safe spaces were coffee shops. I have yet to, aside from Sankofa, I've yet to see really any Black coffee shops where artists can just go and just chill and just be. And so I think we need that type of space. I will say in 2022, I am looking at creating products for artists, healing balms, aromatherapies to just help, cultivate the gifts. But for brothers like you who are empowered, donate some, donate a therapist. Um,
I
even
think
your events and your platforms. That, I mean, I think that's beautiful.
No, I think you just you connected some pieces. You were talking about the safe spaces. So I love Black people. We're curating safe spaces for Black folks, like the Green Book. I think even the thing you just said with the oils and the bombs. I think teaching artists, teaching us, only reason I'm harping on artists, of course, I'm talking to you, but I think there's a level of vulnerability that y'all have as artists that I never appreciate until my sister got into the artistry game. I used to think y'all needed to get a full time job. I literally was that ignorant about the arts. I was like, look, get a job. Y'all just want to go around here and talk and hang out and pretend to be people, this acting thing. I was that ignorant. And I realized that it was you who actually interpreted this space. Like as an engineer, I can tell you how many people are in the room, what the density of the air in the room, or what the rate of the flow of air is in a room. That doesn't tell you about the room. What really tells you about the room is the feeling. What were the emotions? What was that moment about? And I think you as artists are so awesome at capturing it. Even when you talk about the stronger, again, we could talk about the population of Black people in 2021, but that doesn't tell us how they felt. That doesn't tell us how their lives were. So I think there's such a powerful space that we need to have for y'all because without you, no one's going to interpret this moment that I'm in or anybody else is in, but the artist. And I think when you said this stuff about the oils, I do think I know we talk about self care a lot, so not enough. It's still probably not enough, but we've seen a increase of that awareness. Praise God, alhamdulillah. That being said, I think even sharing ways and sharing ideas to help our artists as they go through their journey. And maybe even things like people like me, who's not an artist, but wants to be supportive of art, things that we can do to so that you guys are better at doing what you do that literally helps all of us. So I think even when you were saying the oils, even like you said, the contributions. Let's talk about the money. I think sometimes we shy away from the money. It can get funny. Money can get funny. Let's talk
Yes.
about the money.
Yeah,
What?
let's talk about the money because and that is I'm so glad nobody's really asked about the money, right? They want the art, but the art ain't free, right? You want the music, but the music costs, right? We listen to music every day, right? We wear clothes every day. That's by designers. That's a form of art. Most of us have paintings on our wall. Whoever painted that, you had to pay for that, right? The books that cost, the books that we have. And so, how do we contribute? I think now with technology being the way that it is, you can support most real serious artists have their own websites or they have their own link trees, places where you can donate. And I think also, every year a lot of people, I would even say some family members that I have that are well off, they pick a cause at the end of the year to donate. And so a chunk of their, revenue goes towards an artist, or a charity. And so if we can just get in the habit of celebrating and giving our flowers to artists of so many different genres, I think that would be a blessing. I think the safe space is a blessing. I think too, coming from an era when I was a backpacker and money was scarce, but I had to find a way of making money. And so that's how I got into the business realm. I'm like, okay, look, you cannot be broke like this. So how do you take the money that you are making from corporate America or working for nonprofits? How do you take that money and invest it into your art and magnify it? And so 12, I want to say about 12 years ago when I did work for a nonprofit and I started making good money, I started putting money away in my savings. I started building my credit. And once I got real solid, then I kicked, the nonprofit world to the curb and created my own nonprofit. Remember, I'm a writer. And so, what did that mean for me? Working for the nonprofit, shout out to Alliance of Concerned Men, I learned how to write grants. So if I'm writing grants and you're getting awarded, that means you're getting what? Money. So the same money that I'm getting for you, I can solidify myself and get the money for who? Myself. And so once I remember being so broke, Sinclair, not really having any income once I started my own business for about 3 months. And I wrote this amazing grant, and the grant was for 150,000 for about 10 months, and that changed the game, and that was in 2010. So artists, I would say a great contribution to artists is to get them in some workshops, teach them the business savviness of the other side to the game so that they don't have to be broke, so they don't have to go without you know
I got a frat brother, Brian Calhoun, and he's been in the music industry, and he came up with like an artist toolbox where it tries to give some of that information to how somebody in that space could use tools that he didn't have early on. And I think even as a writer, one of the things we had even talked about was, where do artists go when they get old? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an engineer, I might have a pension, I work for, different companies, but where do artists go? Where does an artist, and he was talking about even, I guess, singers where they may not be able to sing so much anymore. But, they gave a body of work. And in those days, from talking to different people, a lot of this was controlled by, organized crime. A lot of folks gave up their rights to their music, and they can't sing anymore. Or, that writer who wrote so much but may not be able to write as much anymore, being there for them. Have you ever, I know I'm just kind of throwing in a weird question, but you made me go down this road. Where do the artists go? Like, wow, that seems like a,
so this is why business is so key. Business is so key. Creating businesses and multiple streams of income as an artist. You have got to be creative. You cannot just be one track. You have to start making your investments. One thing about artists is that we get large chunks of money, right? So when you get that large chunk and you may not get it for the rest of the year, then you need to start putting that money up. You need to get retirement funds. You need to that 401ks for, small business owners and proprietors. The banks are so sophisticated. You are an African crypto king. Start investing the money in crypto. So there's different ways. Start buying property. You got to create multiple streams of income, and then there are retirement funds for small businesses, for sole proprietors, where they can start putting their money up and allow that money to grow.
I will never forget you, and I really appreciate you sharing so much of your love and your artistry with us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Thank you. Give thanks.
All right.
This is I Love Black People Radio on HUR Voices, Sirius XM Channel 141. I Love Black People is more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong worldwide. I am because we are. Special thanks to Banneker Communities.